They gave everyone gifts. Except me, they didn't know I paid for everything. Be grateful you can sit here. My mother said that to me in front of 14 people. Thanksgiving night, 6:47 p.m. Naperville, Illinois. My name is Avery Caldwell. I am 32 years old, and that night changed everything. We were crammed around 2 tables pushed together in our rental house. My mother stood up holding 13 Costco gift bags navy blue with tissue paper. She handed them out one by one. My Aunt Carol, Uncle Jim, Cousin Tyler, my sister Brooke, Uncle Rick, even the neighbors she had invited. Everyone got one. Except me. The spot in front of me stayed empty. When I asked why, she smiled and said it. Be grateful, you can sit here. Then my Uncle Rick laughed. Be glad we still remember your name. The table erupted. 14 people. Nervous laughter. The kind that says, thank God it is not me. I looked at her, calm, and said 3 words. Good to know. What they didn't know. I had been paying $1,200 a month for 4 years to keep that roof over their heads. $57,600. My name, the only name, was on the lease. 2 weeks later, they were at my door, begging. Before I tell you how it happened, please like and subscribe if this resonates. Drop a comment, where are you watching from? Now, let me take you back to where it all began. I was 7. The first time I understood I was different from Brooke. We were at Target. Mom had $20. Brooke wanted a Barbie. I wanted a book. Mom bought the Barbie. When I asked about the book, she said, books are free at the library. Avery, don't be difficult. I wasn't difficult. I was just there. When I was 16, my father left, walked out on a Tuesday morning. Didn't say goodbye, just left his wedding ring on the kitchen counter next to a note that said, I cannot do this anymore. That night, my mother sat me down at the same kitchen table. She didn't cry. She looked at me and said, your father walked out. Someone has to be the adult now, I said. I am 16, she said. Exactly old enough. The next week, I quit volleyball. I got a job at Target, $8.50 an hour. I worked after school, weekends, summers. I bought my own clothes, my own school supplies. I paid for gas when I drove Brooke to dance practice. Brooke was 12. She kept dancing. At 19, I got into the University of Illinois. Full acceptance. I held the letter in my hands and felt something I hadn't felt in 3 years: hope. I showed my mother. She cried. Not happy tears, the other kind. So you are abandoning me too, she said. Just like your father, I said. Mom, it is just college, she said. Family stays together. Avery, real family doesn't leave. I stayed. I enrolled at Harper College, community college, lived at home, worked full-time at Target while taking classes part-time. Brooke went to Northern Illinois University 2 years later. Mom paid for her dorm, her meal plan, her textbooks. When I asked how she was affording it, she said, I am managing. She was managing with the money I had been giving her every month for groceries. At 24, I got promoted. Senior claims adjuster at a health insurance company. Good salary, benefits. I moved into a small apartment across town. 1 bedroom, quiet. Mine. I lasted 6 months before the calls started. Avery, the car broke down. Avery, the water heater died. Avery, I cannot make rent this month. It was always an emergency. Always urgent. Always my responsibility, because Brooke was still finding herself, and Mom was doing the best she could. I started sending $500 a month. Then, $800. Then, $1,200. At 28, Mom, Brooke, and Uncle Rick needed a bigger place. Rick had moved in after losing his job. They found a 3-bedroom rental house in Naperville. $1,500 a month. We need someone with good credit to co-sign, Mom said on the phone. I said, how long? She said. A year, maybe 2, just until we get on our feet. I co-signed. Or so I thought. When the lease came back, only my name was on it. The leasing agent, Melissa Grant, explained it on the phone. Your mother and sister didn't qualify. You are the sole leaseholder. They are listed as occupants only. I didn't fight it. I just started paying $1,200 a month, every month, for 4 years. I kept a spreadsheet, not because I am petty, because I am a claims adjuster. I see patterns, and the pattern was clear. Every time I tried to set a boundary, Denise would cry, Rick would lecture, Brooke would post passive-aggressive quotes on Instagram about fake family. So I stayed quiet. I paid, I performed, and I disappeared. I stopped going to family dinners unless I was summoned. I stopped calling just to talk. I stopped expecting anything in return, because expecting hurt worse than giving. Brooke graduated college. Got a job at a boutique in downtown Naperville. She posted Instagram stories from brunch every Sunday, mimosas, avocado toast, $50 meals. I worked overtime and transferred $1,200 on the first of every month. Mom redecorated the living room, new couch, new television. She posted photos on Facebook, finally making this house a home. I ate ramen in my apartment and transferred $1,200. Uncle Rick bought a new truck, used, but new to him. A 2018 Silverado. He parked it in the driveway like a trophy. I drove a 2009 Honda Civic with a cracked windshield and transferred $1,200. No one said thank you. No one acknowledged it. It was just expected, like rent, like utilities, like air. 1 week before Thanksgiving, I texted my mother, I need to reduce the monthly transfer to $800. I am trying to save for a down payment. She called me within 3 minutes. We will discuss this with everyone at Thanksgiving, she said. Let the family decide if you are being selfish, a family trial, for wanting to keep $400 of my own paycheck. I didn't respond. I just stared at my phone. That night, I pulled out the lease. I had forgotten what was on it. 4 years of automatic payments had erased the memory. But there it was, black ink, white paper. Leaseholder. Avery Caldwell. Occupants. Denise Caldwell. Brooke Caldwell. No Rick. No co-signers. Just me. I called Melissa Grant at the leasing office. Left a voicemail. She called back the next morning. Hi Avery, she said. I pulled your file. You are listed as the sole leaseholder for the property on Plainfield Road. Denise and Brooke are occupants only, I said. What about my Uncle Rick? She said. There is no Rick Caldwell in our system. If he is living there, he would be considered an unauthorized occupant technically, but we don't usually enforce that unless I cut her off. What if I want to file a non-renewal notice? She paused. You can do that. 30 days written notice before the lease ends. Are you thinking of moving? I said. Something like that. I hung up. I sat at my kitchen table and I made a decision. That night, I opened my laptop and pulled up every bank statement from the past 4 years. Transfer after transfer after transfer. I highlighted them all in yellow. Then I did the math. Total. $57,600. I stared at that number until my vision blurred. $57,600. That is a down payment on a house. That is 2 years of retirement contributions. That is a new car. That is a wedding. That is a life. I had given them a life, and they had given me an empty spot at Thanksgiving. I called Nadia, my best friend, the only person I trusted to tell me the truth. She came over with coffee. Black Friday morning, 9 a.m. She looked at the laptop screen, at the highlighted transfers. At the number at the bottom, Jesus, Avery, she said. I said, I know, she said. $57,000, and they gave you nothing. Not even a bag of candy, I said. They let me sit there. She looked at me like I had just said something in a foreign language. You paid to sit there. You have been paying for 4 years. I didn't cry. I would run out of tears somewhere around year 2. Nadia sat down next to me. She is an HR manager. She sees workplace dynamics everywhere. Exploitation, power imbalances, people who take, and people who give until there is nothing left. She said. They treat you like a subscription. I said. What? She said. Netflix, Spotify, you keep paying, they keep taking, and they get mad when you try to cancel. Except you are a person, not a service. I laughed. It came out bitter. I cannot just cancel my family, she said. Why not? I didn't have an answer. She leaned forward. What do you lose if you stop paying? I said. I lose them, she said. Avery, you don't have them. You have an invoice. That hit me like cold water, because she was right. When was the last time my mother called just to ask how I was? When was the last time Brooke invited me somewhere that didn't benefit her? When was the last time Rick spoke to me without needing something? I couldn't remember, Nadia said. What do you want? I said. I want to save money. I want to buy a condo. I want to stop eating ramen 4 nights a week, so I can afford their emergencies. I want to be seen as more than a bank account, she said. Then stop being one. I looked at the spreadsheet again. At the lease I had pulled up in another window. My name only mine, Nadia said. You have the power here, you just don't see it yet, I said. What if they hate me, she said. They already don't love you. Not the way you deserve. That hurt. But it was true. I thought about Thanksgiving. About the empty spot, about the laughter, about the way Brooke had giggled into her napkin when Rick made the joke about remembering my name. About the way my mother had smiled when she said, "Be grateful you can sit here," like I was a guest. In a house I paid for, at a table I funded, eating food I had bought. I wasn't their daughter. I was their subscription, and Nadia was right. Subscriptions can be cancelled, I said. What do I do? She said. First, stop paying, today. Delete the transfer, I said. They will freak out, she said. Let them? Second, the lease. You are the only name on it. File non-renewal. Legal official, I said. Where will they go? She said. Not your problem. They are adults. They will figure it out. My hands were shaking. This feels cruel. She looked at me. Really looked at me. What they did to you at Thanksgiving. That was cruel. This is self-preservation. I took a breath. Okay. She said, okay, I said. Okay, let me take you back to Thanksgiving. 6 p.m., the house on Plainfield Road. The 3-bedroom rental I paid for. 14 people were coming. Mom had called me 2 weeks earlier. Can you pick up the turkey from Costco, she had said, and maybe grab some extra chairs from your apartment? I did both. The turkey cost $142. I put it on my credit card. I borrowed 4 folding chairs from my neighbor. When I arrived at 5:30, the house was chaos. 2 tables pushed together in the middle of the living room, borrowed chairs from 3 different neighbors, tight walkways, kids running around. The smell of roasting turkey and cinnamon candles. Mom was in the kitchen, wearing a new apron, red with white letters, Queen of the Kitchen. She saw me and said, "Oh good, you are here. Can you set the table?" Not hello, not how are you. Just an assignment. I set 14 place settings, plates, forks, knives, napkins. I counted 3 times to make sure I had enough. Guests started arriving at 6. Aunt Carol and Uncle Jim, Cousin Tyler and his wife Sarah. Uncle Rick came down from his room upstairs. My money paid for that room. Brooke came out of her room in a new dress probably bought with money she had saved by not paying rent. Mom had also invited 4 neighbors. People I barely knew. She liked an audience. By 6:30, everyone was seated. 2 tables pushed together. A kid's table in the corner with 3 children under 10. The rest of us crammed in tight, shoulders touching, plates overlapping. The food came out. Turkey, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, stuffing, rolls, pumpkin pie. Mom stood at the head of the table and gave a speech. I just want to say, she began, voice shaking with emotion, that I am so grateful for all of you. It has been a hard few years, raising 2 girls alone, making ends meet. But I did it. I did this all by myself. People clapped, Aunt Carol said. You are amazing, Denise. I stared at my plate. Alone by herself, with my $1,200 a month. We ate. The room was warm. Too warm. 74 degrees. Everyone had taken off their sweaters. Conversations overlapped. Laughter, comfort. I sat between Aunt Carol and Uncle Jim. I smiled when I was supposed to, laughed when appropriate, stayed quiet otherwise. At 6:47, Mom stood again. Before we have dessert, she said, I want to give everyone a little something, just to say thank you for being here. She walked to the kitchen, came back with a stack of navy blue Costco bags. Tissue paper sticking out of the tops. She handed one to Aunt Carol for you. One to Uncle Jim. For you. One to Cousin Tyler. One to Sarah. One to the neighbors. One to Uncle Rick. One to Brooke. 13 bags. She walked past me, handed one to the neighbor on my other side. I waited. She sat down. I said, Mom? She looked at me. Yes, I said, where is mine? The table went quiet. She smiled. That smile, the one she uses in public. Be grateful you can sit here. Avery, silence, heavy, uncomfortable. Then Uncle Rick laughed. Be glad we still remember your name, kiddo. The table erupted. Nervous laughter. Relief. Someone coughed. Brooke giggled into her napkin. Aunt Carol glanced at me, then looked away. I felt 14 pairs of eyes. Some curious, some pitying, some relieved it wasn't them. I picked up my fork, took a bite of mashed potatoes, chewed slowly. Mom said, Avery understands, right? Avery? I swallowed. Put down my fork, looked directly at her. Good to know, I said. She frowned. What? I said. Good to know. I picked my fork back up, took another bite. The table shifted. Someone changed the subject. Dessert was served. I ate my pumpkin pie in silence. At 8 p.m., I helped clear plates. Mom was in the kitchen laughing with Aunt Carol. Brooke cornered me by the sink. Why do you always do that? She said. Do what? Make it awkward. Mom was joking. I dried my hands on a towel. 14 people. Brooke. 13 bags. That is not a miscount. It is a choice. She crossed her arms. You are so sensitive. I looked at her. Good to know. I walked out. I drove home to my apartment across town. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I sat at my kitchen table, opened my laptop, and pulled up my bank statements. 4 years, 48 transfers. Every single one, $1,200. I highlighted every transfer in yellow. Then I did the math. $57,600. I stared at that number until 2 a.m. And then I made a decision. Black Friday morning, 9 a.m., Nadia showed up with coffee. She looked at my laptop screen, at the highlighted bank statements spread across my kitchen table, at the lease document I had printed out. Jesus, Avery, she said. I said, I know. She sat down, picked up the lease, read it. Put it down, your name. Just your name. I nodded. She said. Do you understand what this means? I said. I think so. She leaned forward. It means you have the power. You have had it the whole time. I had never thought about it that way. Power. I had spent 4 years feeling powerless, obligated, trapped. But she was right, I said. What do I do? Nadia said. You need a plan, not a revenge plan, an exit plan. We spent 3 hours at my kitchen table. Coffee went cold. We ordered pizza, made lists. The plan was simple. Phase 1, stop paying. Delete the scheduled transfer. Phase 2. File non-renewal notice with the leasing office. Legal official, 30 days. Phase 3. Evidence. Show someone neutral. Someone who would tell the truth, Nadia said. Who is reasonable in your family? I thought about it. Cousin Megan. She wasn't at Thanksgiving. She lives in Indiana. We are not close. But she is fair. Nadia nodded. Send her everything. Screenshots. Bank statements. The whole story. Monday morning. I called Melissa Grant at the leasing office. 10:15 a.m. Hi Avery, she said. What can I do for you? I said. I want to file a non-renewal notice for the property on Plainfield Road. She paused. Okay, I will need you to come in and fill out paperwork. When were you thinking? I said. As soon as possible. I have an opening Friday at 11. I will be there. I hung up. My hands were shaking. But not from fear. From something else. Something that felt like freedom. That night, I remembered something my grandmother had said 2 years ago. We had been on the phone. I was stressed about money. She had heard it in my voice. You sound tired, sweetheart. I am fine, Grandma. You are lying. You have been lying since you were 16. Your mother mistakes guilt for love. She thinks if you feel bad enough, you will stay close enough. I had brushed it off then, but now it hit me like a brick. Guilt for love. That was the pattern. That was the system. That was the trap. I scrolled through the family group chat, Caldwell crew messages I had ignored for months. Avery's being dramatic again. She acts like she is better than us. Maybe she will finally show up to Christmas lol. I screenshotted 12 of them. Then I opened a new document, started typing. Wednesday night, Nadia's apartment. Wine and highlighters, we refined the plan. Nadia said. First step. Stop the money. When is the next transfer due? I checked my phone. December 1st. Thursday, it auto-sends at noon. She said, delete it. Tonight. I pulled up my banking app, found the scheduled payment. Zelle scheduled payment. $1,200 to Denise Caldwell category. Rent for utilities next payment. The 1st of December, 12 p.m., my finger hovered over cancel payment. Nadia said. They had 13 gift bags. Avery, 13. I clicked. Are you sure? I clicked yes. Payment cancelled. I felt sick and free and terrified. All at once, Nadia said. Good. Step 2. Evidence. Make it visible. Friday afternoon, I drove to the house on Plainfield Road. I had a key. Technically, I could walk in any time, but I had always knocked. Not today. I parked in the driveway next to Rick's Silverado, let myself in. Denise was at work. Brooke was out. Rick was asleep on the couch. I could hear him snoring. I walked straight to the kitchen, unrolled the printed bank statements, 4 pages, yellow highlights everywhere. At the top, I taped a single sheet of printer paper. One number written in red Sharpie, $57,600. I taped it to the fridge. Right at eye level, impossible to miss. It looked like evidence at a crime scene. Good. I left without waking Rick. Friday at 11 a.m., I met Melissa Grant at the leasing office on Ogden Avenue. She slid forms across the desk. This is the non-renewal notice. You will need to initial here, sign here, date here. I said, how much notice do they get? She said, 30 days. Your lease ends December 31st. So if you file today, they had need to be out by January 31st. I said. And if they refuse, she said. Then it becomes an eviction process. But usually, people leave. I signed, dated, initialed. Melissa said, we will send an official letter to the occupants. Should arrive in 3 to 5 business days. I said, can I send my own letter too? She said, of course. Certified mail is a good idea. Return receipt, requested. Saturday morning, I went to the post office on Washington Street, wrote out the letter by hand, simple, clear, legal. To Denise Caldwell and Brooke Caldwell, non-renewal of lease for 847 Plainfield Road. This letter serves as formal notice that the lease for the above property will not be renewed beyond the 31st of December 2023. As the sole leaseholder, I am exercising my legal right to terminate occupancy. The effective move-out date is the 31st of January 2024. Additionally, all financial support will cease immediately. Avery Caldwell, I sent it certified mail. Return receipt requested $8.55. The clerk handed me the tracking number. Should arrive Monday, Sunday night, 9 p.m. I texted cousin Megan. Me, hey, do you have a minute? I need to tell you what happened at Thanksgiving. Megan, I heard it was great. Sorry I missed it. Me, it wasn't great for me. Can I send you something? Megan, of course. I sent her screenshots of the family group chat. The mocking messages, the passive-aggressive posts. Then I sent her a summary of the bank statements, total amount, monthly transfers, 4 years. Then I told her about Thanksgiving. The 13 bags. The empty spot. The quotes. 20 minutes passed. Megan. Holy shit. Megan. Avery. I had no idea you were covering all of this. Megan, this is insane. Does anyone else know? Me? Not yet. They will soon. Megan. What are you going to do? Me. I already did it. I told her about the lease. The non-renewal notice, the certified letter. Megan. Good. I am glad. Do you need anything, me? Just wanted someone to know the truth. Megan, I got you. And for what it is worth, they had it coming. I put my phone down, lay on my couch, stared at the ceiling. In 3 days, the letter would arrive. In 3 days, they would know, and in 3 days, everything would change. I thought about the number on the fridge, the highlighted statements, the lease with only my name. I thought about the empty spot at Thanksgiving, about the laughter, about the way Brooke had giggled, and I felt something I hadn't felt in 4 years. Calm, not peace yet, but calm. I wasn't yelling, I wasn't dramatic, I wasn't doing anything wrong, I was just stopping. Stopping the money, stopping the performance, stopping the subscription. Nadia was right. They could be mad, but they couldn't make me stay. The certified letter arrived Monday, December 5th. I know because I got the tracking alert at 2:14 p.m. delivered. I put my phone down, went back to work, processed claims, answered emails. At 6 p.m., my phone started ringing. Denise. I didn't answer. She called again. Again by 8 p.m., I had 27 missed calls. I listened to the voicemails on mute, watched her face appear and disappear on my screen. Then I played them back. Voicemail 1, 8:47 p.m. Avery, what is this letter? Call me back right now. Voicemail 5, 9:23 p.m. You are being ridiculous. This is my house. I have lived here for 4 years. Voicemail 12, 10:15 p.m. Fine, don't call back. But you are tearing this family apart. I hope you are happy. Voicemail 19, 11:08 p.m. Crying, Avery, please. I don't understand what I did wrong. Can we talk about this? Voicemail 27, 12:42 a.m. You are just like your father. You abandon people when they need you most. I deleted them all, went to bed. Saturday morning, December 10th, 7:23 a.m. I woke up to 47 unread messages in the family group chat. Caldwell Crew, I scrolled to the top. Denise, I need everyone to see what Avery is doing to us. Denise. She sent us a legal letter saying, we have to leave our house by January, Rick. What? Brooke? I woke up to this. I am shaking. Aunt Carol. Wait. What house? The one you have been renting. Denise, my house. The one I have been paying for. Megan, Denise, whose name is on the lease. Denise, that is not the point, Rick. Avery, explain yourself. I took a screenshot of the fridge photo I had taken Friday, the number $57,600, the highlighted bank statements. Then I took a screenshot of my notes from Thanksgiving. The quotes, I posted both in the chat. Avery, since we are discussing this publicly, let's be accurate. I have paid $1,200 a month for 4 years. That is $57,600. The lease is in my name. Only mine. And at Thanksgiving, in front of 14 people, I was told to be grateful I can sit there. I am done being grateful for the privilege of funding my own humiliation. The chat went silent. 4 minutes passed. Then cousin Tyler. Hold on. You have been paying $1,200 a month. Avery, plus electric, water, and groceries. Most months. Aunt Carol, Denise. Is this true, Denise? She is twisting it. She offered to help. I posted the screenshots, the mocking messages. The Averys being dramatic again. Texts, the she acts like she is better than us comments. Avery's being dramatic again. She acts like she is better than us. These are from the last 3 months. This is how you talk about someone who is offering to help. Megan. I am calling Grandma. 20 minutes later, Megan FaceTimed into the chaos. I wasn't there, but Megan told me later what happened. She set up her iPad in front of Denise, Rick, and Brooke. They were sitting at the kitchen table. The table I paid for in the house I paid for. Grandma Lorraine's face appeared on screen. Denise Marie Caldwell, Grandma said. Denise's face went pale. Mom, Stay out of this. I have been in it for 32 years. Avery, are you there? Megan typed in the chat. Avery, yes, Grandma. Grandma took a breath, then spoke. Let me say this once for everyone listening. Avery has been carrying this family since she was 16 years old. Not because she owed you, because you made her feel like she had no choice. Denise, you told her she was the adult when her father left. She was a child. She stayed local instead of going to college because you cried. She has paid your rent for 4 years because you guilted her. And at Thanksgiving, you humiliated her in front of the people she paid to feed. Don't you dare paint yourself as the victim here. Denise tried to interrupt. You don't understand, Grandma cut her off. I understand perfectly. You did the right thing, Avery. She needed to feel what you have been carrying. The call ended. The chat stayed silent. Then private text started coming in. Aunt Carol, I didn't know. I am so sorry. If I had known, I would have said something. Cousin Tyler, that was insane. Are you okay, Uncle Jim? I was at Thanksgiving. I should have spoken up. I apologize. Rick texted me privately. Rick, look, maybe we got carried away. Can we talk, me? Number Rick, you are really going to kick us out. Me, I am not renewing a lease. You have 30 days. That is more notice than I got before being excluded at Thanksgiving. Rick, you are being unreasonable. I blocked him, Brooke texted. Brooke, I didn't know Mom was doing this. I swear. Me, you sat there while everyone laughed. You knew enough, Brooke? I thought it was a joke. Me? 13 gift bags. 1 empty spot. That is not a joke, Brooke. That is a message. You received yours. By the way, what was in it? She stopped responding. Denise left the group chat. The family chat stayed quiet for the rest of the day. But I knew it wasn't over. They still had 2 weeks until the next transfer was due. They still thought I had changed my mind. They still didn't believe I would actually follow through. I didn't call. I didn't text. I didn't explain. I just waited. December 15th. Rent was due again. I didn't pay. My phone stayed silent. December 20th. Denise sent a text. Denise, Rick's in the hospital. Heart scare. I know you are angry, but please, we need help. I didn't respond. I called Aunt Carol. Asked if it was true, she sighed. He went to urgent care for chest pain. They said it was anxiety. He is fine. I thanked her. Hung up. Denise had lied again. I blocked her number. December 23rd, 7:18 p.m. I was wrapping Christmas gifts for Nadia's kids, sitting on my apartment floor. Scissors, tape, ribbon. Then I heard it. Not a polite knock. A pounding. I looked through the peephole, all 3 of them. Denise in front, eyes red, mascara running, voice hoarse from crying or yelling or both. Rick behind her, arms crossed, jaw tight. Brooke in the back, quiet, looking at the floor. I took a breath, opened the door, kept the chain lock on. What are you doing here? I said. Denise's voice shook. You have to stop this. Stop what? The lease. The money. All of it. Avery, I am your mother. I am aware. Rick stepped forward. You cannot just kick us out. It is Christmas. You have until January 31st. That is 5 weeks. Denise was crying now. Real tears. Where are we supposed to go? I don't know. But you will figure it out. You are adults. Brooke spoke, quiet, from behind. Avery, please. I looked at her. You laughed, Brooke, at Thanksgiving. When Rick said they barely remember my name. You laughed. I didn't mean yes. You did. Denise grabbed the door. Desperate. I will apologize. In front of everyone. I will tell them I was wrong. I don't need an apology. I need you to leave. Rick's voice got loud, angry. You are going to regret this. I looked him in the eye. No, I am not. I closed the door. They stood there for another minute. I could hear them through the door. Denise crying. She is really doing this. Oh my God, she is really doing this. Rick muttering something I couldn't make out. Then footsteps. Leaving. I slid down the door. Saturday on the floor. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from relief. 5 minutes later, my neighbor knocked. Mrs. Patel from 3B Avery. Are you okay? I heard yelling. I am fine, Mrs. Patel. Thank you. If you need me to call someone, I don't, but I appreciate it. She hesitated. For what it is worth, you handled that with a lot of grace. I smiled. Thank you. She left. I sat on the floor for 10 more minutes. I had said no. I had held the boundary, and the world hadn't ended. Denise was still crying somewhere. Rick was still angry. Brooke was still confused, but I was still here. Still standing. Still okay. I stood up, finished wrapping the presents. At 9 p.m. I texted Nadia. Me. They came to my door. Nadia, and me. I closed it. Nadia, good, proud of you. Me, I feel sick. Nadia, that is the guilt, it is learned, it will pass. Me, will it, Nadia? Yeah, it will. I put my phone down. I thought about the look on Denise's face, the desperation, the tears. And I felt something I hadn't expected. Not satisfaction, not victory, just tired. Tired of the wait. Tired of the guilt. Tired of the performance. I went to bed early that night, slept straight through until morning. Christmas came. I spent it with Nadia's family, turkey laughter, gifts that weren't conditional. I didn't check my phone. I didn't text my mother. I didn't apologize. I just existed peacefully. For the first time in 16 years. Christmas morning, I woke up in Nadia's guest room. Her kids were already awake. Screaming about Santa, running down the stairs. Nadia knocked on my door. Coffee, please. We sat in her kitchen while the kids opened presents. She handed me a mug. Steam rising. Quiet. How are you? She asked. Lighter, I said. And I meant it. No texts asking for money. No guilt about not showing up. No performance. Just coffee and peace. At noon, I checked Facebook. Denise had posted. Denise Caldwell. Sometimes the people you sacrifice everything for are the first to walk away. Merry Christmas to those who still value family. 42 likes. 18 comments. Aunt Carol had commented. Denise, call me. I didn't respond, didn't react. Just closed the app. December 27th, Brooke texted. Brooke, I am sorry. I really am. I didn't see how bad it was. Me, thank you for saying that. Brooke, can we talk? Me, not right now. Maybe someday, but not now. Brooke, I understand. I believed her. Sort of. But I also knew that understanding doesn't undo complicity. She had sat there, she had laughed, she had accepted her gift bag without question. Maybe she had change, maybe she wouldn't. But I couldn't fix her. I could only protect myself. January 5th. Aunt Carol called me. They moved out, she said. Where? Denise's friend Karen. She has a basement, 2 bedrooms. It is cramped. I didn't say anything. Aunt Carol continued. Rick got a job at Costco, 60 hours a week. Denise is working double shifts at the hospital. Brooke moved into a studio in Aurora, I said. Are they okay? They are managing barely. But they are managing, I said. Good. Aunt Carol paused. Avery, I need to say this. I am proud of you. My throat tightened. Thank you. I should have said something at Thanksgiving. I saw the empty spot. I knew it was wrong. I am sorry I didn't speak up. It is okay, it is not. But I am saying it anyway. You did the right thing. We talked for another 20 minutes. She told me Denise was struggling, missing payments on credit cards I used to cover. Her credit score dropping. The car she had leased, a 2021 Honda CR-V, $380 a month. She couldn't afford it anymore. She sold it, bought a 2008 Toyota Camry off Craigslist for $3,200. Rick's Silverado repossessed. Brooke's studio apartment cost $750 a month. She was working at the boutique plus a weekend job at Panera to make rent. They were managing, but the comfort was gone. The ease, the cushion. The cushion I had provided for 4 years. January 12th. My first therapy session. I had never been to therapy before. Always told myself I didn't need it. That I could handle things. But Nadia insisted. You have been carrying this for 16 years. You need help putting it down. The therapist's name was Dr. Patel. She was kind. Direct. She didn't let me hide behind. I am fine, she asked. How do you feel about what you did? I said, relieved, guilty. Angry that I feel guilty, she leaned forward. The guilt is learned. You were taught that setting boundaries equals betrayal. I know. Logically, I know. Knowing and believing are different. Give yourself time. You are unlearning 32 years of conditioning. We talked for an hour about the parentification, the financial exploitation, the performance. She said something at the end that stuck with me. You didn't abandon them. You stopped letting them abandon themselves. January 28th, 3 days early. I got a text from Melissa Grant. Melissa, they are out. Left the keys in the mailbox. Place is in decent shape. Your deposit will be refunded. Me, thank you. Melissa, for what it is worth, you did the right thing. I drove by the house that afternoon, couldn't help myself. Empty driveway. Curtains gone. For rent sign in the yard, it looked smaller than I remembered. I sat in my car for 5 minutes. Stared at the front door. 4 years of my life. $57,600. And all I felt was nothing. Not anger. Not satisfaction. Just nothing. I drove away. February 14th, Valentine's Day. A card arrived in my mailbox, handwritten address, no return label. I opened it. Avery, I don't know where to start. I know I hurt you. I know I took you for granted. I am sorry. I am so sorry. Can we please talk? I miss my daughter. Mom, I read it 3 times. Then I called Grandma Lorraine. Did you get her card? She asked. Yes. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. Part of me wants to forgive her. Part of me doesn't trust it. Grandma was quiet for a moment. Both can be true. You can love someone and still protect yourself from them. How do I know if she means it? You watch, not what she says, what she does. I kept the card. Didn't respond. February 20th. I texted Denise. Me, I got your card. If you want to rebuild, I need you to commit to therapy. For yourself, not for me. Denise, I will do it. She went to 2 sessions, then texted me again. Denise, the therapist doesn't understand our family. I am not going back. Me, then I cannot do this. Denise, you are punishing me. Me, I am protecting myself. She didn't respond. And I realized something. She wasn't sorry. She was uncomfortable. There is a difference. Sorry means change. Uncomfortable means wanting relief. She wanted me back, but she didn't want to do the work, and I couldn't do it for her. April 3rd. Brooke texted again. Brooke, can we have coffee? I am not asking you to forgive me. I just want to talk. Me, why now? Brooke, because I have been living alone for 3 months and I finally see it. How much you did. How little we appreciated it. How awful we were. Me. Okay. When? We met at Starbucks on Ogden Avenue, April 8th, 2 p.m. Brooke looked different. Thinner. Tired. Less polished. She sat down across from me. No pleasantries, just honesty. I was complicit, she said. I didn't defend you. I laughed. I took your money and acted like I deserved it. I am sorry. I stirred my coffee. Why didn't you see it then? Because it was easier not to. You were always there. I thought you always would be. I am glad you are seeing it now. She looked down. Are we? Can we? I took a breath. Maybe. Slowly. But I need you to understand. I am not your safety net anymore. I know. We talked for an hour. About her studio apartment, her 2 jobs. How hard it was without the cushion. She didn't ask for money. Didn't hint at it. Just acknowledged it. At the end, she said, I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I want to try. To be better. To be a real sister, I said. Okay, it wasn't a promise. Just a door left open slightly. Rick never apologized. Not once. He blocked me on Facebook. Aunt Carol told me he tells people I turned into a different person, that I got too big for my family. I am okay with that. Some people will never see what they did wrong. And I cannot make them. April 15th. I got my tax refund, $4,200. I put it all in savings. For the first time in 4 years, I had more than $1,000 in my account that wasn't earmarked for someone else. I stared at the number on my screen and felt something I hadn't felt since I was 16. Possibility. I could save. I could plan. I could build for me. Just me. And that felt like freedom. It is March 15th. I am sitting in my new apartment. 1 bedroom, bigger than my old place. Better neighborhood. Quiet street. The walls are cream-colored. I have plants on the windowsill, 3 succulents and a fern. I can keep them alive now because I have the energy to care about things that aren't survival. I am drinking coffee. It is 9:47 a.m. on a Saturday. I have nowhere to be. No one is texting me asking for money. No one is guilting me into showing up. No one is telling me to be grateful. I can sit at a table I paid for. It is quiet. And for the first time in my life, quiet feels like peace, not punishment. There is a framed photo on my bookshelf. Me and Nadia at her daughter's birthday party last month. I am laughing. Really laughing, not the tight performative smile I wore at every family function. Nadia says I look different now. Lighter. I feel it too. My shoulders don't live by my ears anymore. I sleep through the night. I don't wake up anxious about which emergency will hit my bank account next. I am saving money. $4,800 in the past 3 months. Next year, I am buying a condo. In my name, only mine. People ask me if I regret it. The answer is complicated. I regret that it had to happen. I regret that my family couldn't love me without taking from me. I regret that I spent 16 years believing that belonging required payment. But do I regret setting the boundary? Not even a little. Here is what I have learned. First, family is built, not owed. Blood doesn't entitle anyone to your peace, your money, or your self-respect. I spent my 20s paying rent on relationships that should have been free. Second, boundaries aren't betrayal. They are survival. For years, I thought saying no meant I was selfish. I thought setting limits meant I didn't love them. I was wrong. Boundaries are how you teach people how to treat you. Third, you cannot pour from an empty cup. I gave until there was nothing left. And when I had nothing left, they blamed me for being empty. If you are watching this, and you have ever paid for the privilege of being tolerated, if you have ever funded your own humiliation, I want you to know. You are not selfish for stopping. You are not cruel for protecting yourself. And you are not required to bleed for people who wouldn't bandage you. The people who truly love you will not make you audition for it. They will not make you pay for it. They will not make you shrink so they can feel big. You deserve to sit at a table where every seat has a gift. Where your name is remembered without a reminder. Where your presence is wanted, not just tolerated. As for them, Denise is living with her friend in the suburbs. She posts Bible verses on Facebook every Sunday. I don't follow her anymore, but Aunt Carol sends me screenshots sometimes. Rick's working at Costco, 60 hours a week. I heard he tells people I abandoned the family. I am okay with that narrative. It is easier than admitting he was living rent-free off his niece. Brooke and I are talking. Slowly, carefully, she is trying. I can see it. We had coffee last week, she paid. Didn't ask for anything. Just sat with me. That is progress. I don't hate them, but I don't owe them anything either. And that is enough. Thank you for staying with me through this story. If it resonated, please hit like and subscribe. I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to set a boundary with family? How did it go? Drop a comment. Let's talk about it. There are more stories in the description, people who chose themselves and survived. Until next time, protect your peace. Even from the people who gave you life. Good to know.